ironic and hypocritical?
She's got to go get in her big black taxpayer-funded SUV.
Oh yeah, that's what happens when you're a member of Congress.
No, that's what happens when you don't have transparency in the government. Why do you deserve a big black taxpayer-funded SUV? Is that why you're so against DOGE? Is that what the problem is? What's up with the lack of transparency in your... What's the problem with transparency? Who the f are you? Why are you pushing? What is the problem with DOGE? What is the problem with
So, Nick, why do you think Maxine Waters is so against government transparency? The golden question she just couldn't answer for you.
Well, I mean, look, I know third graders that are more intelligent than Maxine Waters. I think, I mean, she's up there in the running with Jasmine Crockett for the dumbest member of Congress. I mean, and that's a close race. It's really tight. But you know what? I'm telling you, they're not used to being asked these questions. They're not used to, I mean, we're in DC. Keep in mind, the media, the mainstream outlets that were there were more ticked off at me than they were the fact that I was being, assaulted, and they were trying to steal my phone. They tried to steal my AirPods straight out of my ear and run off with it. I had to chase them down and get that back. And they were more upset because I wouldn't allow them to get in there and ask about, what color nail polish are you wearing today? You know, what shade of blue? You know, it's like that's what these politicians, especially Democrats, are used to. And that time is over. You know, we are the media now. You, me, Kevin, Jack, Bannon, everybody on this network, we're the media now. The mainstream media, we're just kind of, let them go off to the wayside. They can ask about nail polish later. We're going to ask the real questions now.
Oh, sorry. Before you go, Kevin, Nick, they took your AirPods? What?
They took my AirPods. They actually, I spent a little bit extra money this time and bought the ones that you can track. And so they took the one right out of my ear and hid it over in the crowd. And then I started pinging it. So I was able to hear it. And so I was able to find who had actually stolen it. And then she tried to hide it again. And so I went up. I tried to grab it, and she pushed me out of the way and grabbed it and threw it so that I wouldn't be able to find it. I mean, it's just these people are sick. And I got yelled at. I got attacked by Antifa after that. I'm sure there are videos floating around because all the cameras, convulge on you when you do something like that. But it's just these people they will hurt you. The Democrats have been openly calling for violence at this point. They've been saying that they need to fight in the streets. And one of their chants is now agitate, agitate, agitate. And then you had that other congresswoman, who the hell knows her name? These people are totally irrelevant, saying this is war, this is war. They are calling for violence, and that's what they're getting. They're literally advocating for violence against people like me and you. And it shows. This video shows exactly what their intent is at this point.
Wasn't Maxine Waters famous for saying make MAGA patriots not welcome here a few years ago? She's always been in the news about that, Nick. And then just recently, before you got to meet her again, she was asking for that guy's ID when he wouldn't let anybody into the DOGE building or whatnot.
Yep.
He was standing in front of her saying he wouldn't give his ID, and just that's what they do. They just keep getting. That's
a question, Jack, that I wanted to ask her. That I wanted the opportunity to be able to ask her. But when you're being pushed and shoved and grabbed, and like they were trying to steal my phone out of my hands, as you could see, like when it makes it much more difficult to be able to ask them questions, and they know that. Luckily, I was still able to get some of those questions out. But I wanted to ask her, okay, why are you demanding ID from a federal employee that's carrying out orders of the Trump administration, what you and I and everyone else, most of the country voted for? But you won't demand ID at the ballot box. That was the question that I really wanted to get out to her, but I was unable to do so because they kept, assaulting me and stealing my my gear.
Is it the staffers? Is it the security detail? Is it Antifa? Who keeps assaulting you? Can you identify
Both.
any of them?
Both. In Maxine Waters' case, it was her entourage that was doing it. They're the ones that tried to steal my phone. And I don't just mean they were covering up the camera. There was a scuffle where I had to take my phone, like they had grabbed my phone and tried to pull it out of my hands. And so I had to lock up like this. And that's when the video cuts out because I gripped my phone really hard to stop them from taking it. And it was a literal struggle in the middle of the street to keep them from stealing my phone. They didn't want me to embarrass her and show how, dumb and incompetent and unable to answer basic questions. I mean, this could have been a very easy conversation with her. She could have explained her viewpoint on why she believes that, maybe DOGE isn't transparency or I've got the wrong idea and I'm just wrong about transparency. This could have been a very simple conversation. But they won't have that. And they didn't want me to be able to post this video. It's gotten millions of views now and, almost 100,000 likes on X alone. It's been stolen and posted on every other platform. And I don't really care at this point. I want people to see this. I want people to know who these people are. And we're going to expose them one by one. I'm staying in D.C. I'm not leaving. And this is going to continue. If anything, the pressure is going to get amped up.
If I could add on to that a little bit, just from a personal anecdote, I mean, you and I, Nick, we had just linked up about a week or so ago for the unfortunate, devastating Reagan air crash, and I want to point out, like, when we went to, the presser with Secretary Duffy, like how close we could get to him, and seemingly how transparent he would have been after being escorted out. By police and everyone else, and it seemed like they were. It was a very sobering moment, but still we were able to get close with like no right. nonsense like that. Like nobody.
They didn't say anything to us. They didn't push us out of the way. They didn't block us. They did none of that.
No, and respectfully, it wasn't the right moment, but. We just kind of let him go, and I even asked you. I was like, "Man, like we got really close there, like, and they didn't say anything. It was so cool." And
right,
so just to keep in mind for the future. But it's a glaring representation of, like I was getting back to, like why these people on the left are just clearly not transparent. No pun intended, right. But it just is what it is at this point. They're what are they trying to hide? So
we know what they're trying to hide at this point. You have to think about it. One of the other, I don't know if you guys have played the clip or not, but I also confronted Elizabeth Warren and asked her how she amassed a minimum $12 million net worth on a $174,000 salary. I thought that was a pretty fair question because, the data has come out how much money she's been taking from Big Pharma, after she was railing RFK Jr. and saying that he was going to take money from Big Pharma. And she got laughed out of the committee hearing for asking that question. She's a total hypocrite. It's a fair question, and it goes to show that these people are so anti-transparency that she won't even say how she amassed such a massive net worth. Keep in mind, 12 million is the number that she gave. So it's probably much, much higher than that. It usually is. That's a very low estimate. How do you make that on a government salary? Explain that to me. Can anybody explain that? She hasn't done anything.
Yeah, that's a golden question.
It's her partner's consultations on Wall Street, I heard.
Well, and these people know exactly where to hide this money too. So I agree with you, Nick. It's not just that 12 million. Do we have that clip we could play real quick?
Yeah, and honestly, Nick, I couldn't believe you're on the show. I thought you'd be laid up in the hospital after that elbow shot she gave you there.
Well, I'm emotionally scarred permanently. I think I'm going to have to sue her for $420 million. I think that's
there you go.
I think that's the number.
There you go.